I stopped buying several herbs over a year ago. Not because I planted a garden, because I discovered they grow perfectly well in nothing but a glass of water. No soil, no fertilizer, no expensive pots, just a sunny windowsill. Right now, there are 9 plastic cups sitting in my kitchen. Some of the plants inside them have been growing for well over a year, and every morning they've grown a little more. The strange part, most people throw these plants away without realizing they'll keep growing almost indefinitely. And it gets even stranger. One plant on today's list grows roots in just a few days. Another has been used for over 3,000 years in traditional medicine. And the number 1 plant, almost nobody grows it this way, even though it's one of the easiest plants you'll ever grow. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to grow all 10 using nothing more than a cup of water. Think about how many times you bought fresh herbs, used a handful, then watched the rest wilt in your refrigerator. I used to do exactly the same thing. Now, many of those same plants simply live on my windowsill. Whenever I need some, I snip a few leaves. The plant keeps growing. No replanting, no trips to the garden center, no buying the same herbs again and again. Not every plant can survive this way, but the ones on today's list are surprisingly good at it. Some produce roots almost overnight. Some have fascinating medicinal histories stretching back centuries. Others are simply the easiest plants you'll ever grow. If you enjoy discovering forgotten gardening tricks that actually work, subscribe to Green Haven Living. Now, let's start with number 10.
Number 10, oregano. Most people know it as a pizza spice and nothing else, something you shake out of a little jar without a second thought. But the ancient Greeks used it as a wound treatment and a general cure-all, rubbing it into cuts and brewing it for basically anything that ailed you. The name itself roughly translates to joy of the mountain, since it grew wild all over the hillsides there. Kind of a nice name for something we mostly just sprinkle on frozen pizza now without thinking twice. Modern research actually backs up some of that old wound care use. Oregano has real antimicrobial properties, tested and documented, not just folklore. To grow it, snip a 4-inch piece below a leaf node, drop it in a cup of water on a sunny sill, and you'll see thin white roots start forming in about 2 weeks. Change the water every couple days or it starts smelling a little swampy. Learn that one the hard way. Number 9, thyme. The Egyptians used it in embalming, of all things, which is a strange first fact to learn about something that ends up in soup. And later on, it got burned in sick rooms because people believed the smell alone helped with breathing, filling the whole room with that sharp, almost medicinal scent. There's something a little unsettling about a plant with both of those uses attached to it, not gonna lie. One end of life and then hovering around the sick, trying to keep people on this side of it. The compound responsible, thymol, is legitimately studied now for supporting respiratory health, and it's in a lot of over-the-counter cough products, whether people realize it or not. To grow it, same method as before. Snip a healthy stem, submerge the bottom half, sunny window, patience. Thyme's a little slower to root than most on this list. Give it 3 weeks before you start worrying. Quick side note, I killed my first 3 thyme cuttings before one finally took. Kept forgetting to change the water, and they just sat there rotting at the base instead of rooting. 4th try worked because I actually paid attention. If your first attempt at any of these fails, that's normal, not a sign you're bad at this. Try again. Number 8, sage. Its actual Latin root, salvia, means to save or to heal, which tells you how seriously people used to take this plant. Not just a seasoning, but something closer to medicine. Old folk remedy was gargling sage tea for a sore throat. And honestly, grandmothers everywhere were still doing that long after doctors stopped taking it seriously, passing the recipe down without ever really explaining why it worked, just that it did. Turns out there's real anti-inflammatory activity in sage, which is probably why that gargle trick actually helped. It's one of the trickier ones to root, though. The leaves are fuzzy and thick, and they hold water weird. Strip the bottom leaves off the cutting completely before you submerge it, or the whole thing rots before roots even show up. Number 7, basil. This is the one I teased at the start, the fast one. In parts of Ayurvedic medicine, there's a sacred variety called tulsi, holy basil, used for basically everything from stress to immunity. Regular kitchen basil isn't quite the same plant, but it's a close enough cousin that some of that reputation carried over. And here's the part that made me actually believe the hype. Basil roots faster than almost anything else on this list, no contest. Cut a healthy stem below a node, drop it in water, sunny spot, and by day 4 or 5, you'll already see tiny white nubs forming right at the cut. By day 10, you've got roots long enough to plant straight into soil if you want to. Fastest turnaround of the whole 10, and honestly the most satisfying one to watch happen in real time. All right, halfway through the list. If you've actually tried growing any of these before, drop a comment and let me know which one worked and which one turned into a science experiment gone wrong for you, because I know I'm not the only one who's killed a perfectly good cutting through pure neglect. And if this is helping, a genuine like does something for a channel this size, more than people think. It's the difference between this reaching more people or just kind of sitting here. Number 6, rosemary. There's an old phrase, rosemary for remembrance, that goes back centuries, and students in ancient Greece supposedly wore sprigs of it in their hair during exams because they believed it sharpened memory. Sounds like something out of a fairy tale, some old wives' tale that got repeated so many times it just became accepted fact. But people took it seriously for a long time, all across different cultures too, not just one region. There's actual research now looking at compounds in rosemary and cognitive function, so the old phrase might not be pure nonsense after all. Rooting this one takes patience though. It's woody and stubborn and can take a full month before you see anything. Use a young, flexible stem, not an old woody one, and don't give up on it early.
Number 5, lemon balm. Part of the mint family, and you can tell the second you crush a leaf, this bright lemony smell just hits you immediately. Medieval monks grew it specifically to calm nerves and help people sleep, and they called it the gladdening herb, which is a pretty good name for something that smells that good. Modern studies have actually looked at lemon balm for mild anxiety and sleep support, and the results are promising enough that it shows up in a lot of calming tea blends now. Grows in water almost identically to mint, fast, easy, borderline impossible to kill once it gets going. Roots show up within a week or so. Number 4, peppermint. Everybody knows the digestion tea thing. That part's not new information. What actually surprised me is how aggressively this plant grows in water. Started with one cutting, and within 2 months I had roots tangled all through the cup, reaching for more water like the cup wasn't even enough anymore. There's solid research behind peppermint helping with digestive discomfort. It's actually one of the better studied herbs on this entire list. Plenty of clinical backing behind the folk reputation. But fair warning, if you plan on eventually moving it to soil outdoors, mint spreads like it's trying to take over the whole yard, root system running sideways under everything nearby. Keep it contained or keep it in water permanently like I ended up doing, mostly out of laziness if I'm being honest. One thing I didn't expect going into this, the smell test actually works. Crush a leaf from any of these, and the stronger the smell hits you, the more likely there's something real backing up the folklore. Weak, watery smell, usually not much going on scientifically either. Strong, sharp, almost overwhelming smell, and there's usually a study somewhere backing it up. Not a perfect rule, but it held up more than I thought it would. All right, final 3. And these get a little more interesting from here because we're moving past the herbs you'd expect and into stuff most people have either thrown away without thinking or never heard of at all, including that ordinary kitchen staple I mentioned at the very beginning. It's coming up next. Number 3, celery. You've probably seen the trick online before, cutting off the base and sitting it in a shallow dish of water. Here's the thing nobody clarifies though. It doesn't regrow the full stalks you're used to eating. What you get is new, smaller growth from the center, more like a garnish than a grocery store celery bunch. Where celery actually earns its spot on this list is the mineral content in that new growth. It's surprisingly dense in potassium and vitamin K for something growing off scraps you'd normally toss. Keep the water shallow, just covering the base, not the whole thing, and change it every couple days so it doesn't get slimy. Number 2, and here it is, the ordinary kitchen staple. Green onion. The white root end you'd normally throw straight in the trash after chopping up the green part for a recipe. Instead, drop that root end in a cup of water, and within a couple days you'll see new green shoots pushing straight up out of the top. And this is the one that basically never stops. Snip the green tops off for cooking, leave the white base in the water, and it just keeps pushing up new growth over and over. I've had the same green onion base going for months at this point. Same cup,
Same windowsill, just topping off the water when it gets low. Genuinely feels like free food at some point. Pattern interrupt, small confession. Honest moment here. I forgot about one of my green onion cups for almost 3 weeks once, buried behind other stuff on the sill. Water was low, kind of murky, and I figured it was done for. Topped it off anyway just to see, and 2 days later, it was growing again like nothing happened. These things are more forgiving than you'd expect. Number 1. Gotu Kola. This is the one I mentioned at the very start, the Ayurvedic one. Small, round, scalloped leaves, grows low to the ground, and in parts of Asia, there's an old belief that elephants eat it specifically because it helps them live so long. That's likely more legend than fact, but the reputation stuck around for thousands of years regardless. Modern research has actually started looking into Gotu Kola for wound healing and cognitive support, and some of the early results are enough that it's shown up in more supplement aisles than last few years, tucked in next to the more familiar stuff. It roots in water almost embarrassingly easily. Snip a stem with a leaf node, drop it in, and within a week it's already spreading new growth across the surface of the water like a little mat, faster than anything else on this list managed except basil.
So that windowsill from the very beginning, that's 10 plants, all of them with some kind of real history behind them, and all of them sitting in nothing but water. No dirt, no pots, no real cost beyond the first cutting, and in a couple cases, no cost at all since you're just reusing something you were about to throw out anyway. Some root in days, some take a full month and test your patience, but every single one of them is proof you don't need much space, much money, or much know-how to start growing something that actually does something for you. If you want to actually see this in real time, I filmed the whole rooting process for a few of these, day by day, roots and all, in another video linked right up top. That one's worth a watch if you're thinking about trying any of this yourself, since seeing it happen makes it a lot less intimidating than just hearing about it secondhand. And let me know down in the comments which of these 10 you're starting with. I'm genuinely curious whether people go straight for the easy ones or jump right to Gotu Kola out of curiosity.